So you're staring at the CKA curriculum, and you're not sure where to even begin, right? Don't worry, you're not alone. It's a beast of an exam. But what if you could decode it? What if you had a strategic blueprint to focus your energy where it actually counts? Well, that's exactly what we're going to build together in this explainer.
All right, here's our game plan. We're not just going to walk through the CKA topics, we're going to dissect them strategically. We'll start with a big picture, the exam blueprint, then dive right into the heaviest hitters first, troubleshooting and cluster building. From there, we'll connect the dots with services and networking, and then wrap up with the heart of any cluster, the apps and the data. By the end, you'll have a crystal clear path to certification. First things first, let's get the lay of the land. Before you can conquer this exam, you really need to know what a CKA is expected to be and how the test is actually structured. So what's a CKA, really? Well, the CNCF puts it simply. It's not about being a Kubernetes encyclopedia. It's about proving you can actually do the job. This exam is all hands-on, all real-world skills. The real question is, can you fix a broken cluster at 3 a.m.? That's what they want to know. And here it is, the key to unlocking your whole study plan. Just look at this breakdown. Troubleshooting is a whopping 30% of the exam. Cluster architecture is another 25%. You know what that means? That's over half your score right there, in just 2 domains. This isn't just a list of topics, it's a data-driven roadmap to success. So where do we start? With the biggest piece of the pie, of course. And that brings us to our first major focus, mastering troubleshooting. This isn't just another category. It's the single most critical skill for any Kubernetes administrator. And believe me, the exam reflects that. 30%. Just let that number sink in for a second. Nearly a third of your entire score comes down to one thing. Can you fix things when they break? Because in the real world, things will break. This is where a CKA proves their worth. So what does this actually mean in practice? It means your pod is crash looping, and you need to figure out why right now. It means your service is totally unreachable, and you're the one who has to dive into that networking labyrinth to find the misconfigured policy. It's all about becoming a detective, digging through logs and events to find that one clue that cracks the whole case. This is the lifeblood of a healthy cluster. But before you can fix a cluster, you have to be able to build one, right? That brings us to our next major domain, the art and science of cluster construction, security, and management. Coming in at a solid 25%, this domain covers the core construction of your Kubernetes environment. If troubleshooting is about fixing a running cluster, this is about building a resilient and secure one from the ground up. This is where you show you're not just a user, but an architect. Can you lock down your cluster with RBACs so developers don't accidentally delete production? Can you build a cluster from scratch with kubeadm? Can you design a high availability control plane that can withstand a node failure? And can you wrangle complex applications with Helm and even extend Kubernetes itself with CRDs? This is the core of cluster administration. Now, here's where things get really interesting. You'll notice a theme in Kubernetes: interfaces. Think of CNI as the plumbing of your cluster. It's the standard that lets you plug in different networking solutions, like Calico or Flannel, just to get your pods talking to each other. It's all about choice and flexibility. And just like CNI for networking, we have CSI for storage. Think of it as the universal adapter for your data. It lets you plug in storage from pretty much any vendor, giving your stateful applications a place to call home. This is what makes running databases and other persistent workloads on Kubernetes even possible. And the last piece of this puzzle is CRI, the Container Runtime Interface. So if CNI is the plumbing and CSI is the storage adapter, then CRI is the engine starter. It's what lets Kubernetes talk to different container runtimes, like Containerd or CRIO, to actually start and stop your containers. Master these 3 interfaces, and you've basically mastered the foundation of Kubernetes. Next up, let's talk about connecting everything. Once you have a cluster and applications running on it, how do they actually communicate with each other and with the outside world? That's the whole focus of services and networking. At 20%, networking is a hefty chunk of the exam, and for a very good reason. Get your networking wrong, and your cluster is just a collection of isolated containers. It's one of the most common and frustrating sources of problems, so let's make sure you've got it down cold. So what challenges are you going to face in the networking domain? Well, you'll need to master the art of pod-to-pod communication and then learn how to lock it all down with network policies. You'll need to become an expert at exposing your applications to the world with services and ingress. And of course, you'll need to understand the unsung hero of cluster networking, Core DNS, the internal phone book that makes it all work. For our final knowledge area, we're actually going to combine two related domains, workloads and scheduling, and storage. Together, these cover everything about running and managing the actual applications and their data on the cluster.
Now here's a little strategic hack for your study plan. On their own, workloads and storage might seem like smaller topics, but when you combine them, you get another massive 25% chunk of the exam. This reframing is really powerful because it reminds us that a cluster is useless without the applications that run on it. Managing those apps and their data is just as critical as building the infrastructure.
This is all about the care and feeding of your applications. How do you roll out a new version without any downtime? How do you automatically scale up when traffic spikes? How do you make sure your apps are self-healing? And how do you tell Kubernetes exactly where you want your pods to run? It's all about making your applications resilient and efficient. And of course, you can't run an app without configuring it. That's where config maps and secrets come in. It's a simple but absolutely crucial distinction. Config maps are for your everyday, non-sensitive config. Think URLs, environment variables, that kind of thing. Secrets are for the stuff you want to keep, well, secret. Passwords, API keys, you name it. Don't ever mix them up.
So what about data? That's where the storage component comes in. Think of it as a simple three-step process. First, the admin defines a storage class, which is like a menu of storage options. Then, Kubernetes provisions a persistent volume, which is a specific chunk of storage from that menu. Finally, your application makes a persistent volume claim, which is like ordering from the menu. Understanding this workflow is the key to running stateful apps.
Okay, so we've now broken down the entire CKA curriculum. We've seen the weights, the key skills, and the core concepts. So let's distill all of this into a clear, actionable strategy for you.
So here it is, your strategic blueprint for conquering the CKA. First, focus your fire on the big guns, troubleshooting and cluster architecture. That's over half your battle right there. Second, become fluent in the language of Kubernetes interfaces, CNI, CSI, and CRI. Third, and this is non-negotiable, get your hands dirty. Practice until kubectl is second nature. And finally, connect the dots. See the big picture. Understand how all these pieces fit together to create a living, breathing cluster. We've decoded the map, we've highlighted the shortcuts, and we've shown you the mountains you need to climb. The path to CKA certification is now clear. The only question left is, are you ready to take the first step? Good luck and happy hacking.